Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. My name is Khunze. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. And if you've been here before, welcome back, and I'm so pleased you're all here. I don't even know which parts of me I'm going to pull from for messages because I've been going through a lot of system changes. Hence, I've been quiet. But as you listen, I'd like to invite you to listen with an open mind and take what resonates. Don't force anything, please. You've had a rocky start to this new beginning. But as I consider that, what I'm feeling and seeing is that you are actually in the new beginning. And so there may have been, I don't want to say misunderstanding, more a misinterpretation of what a new beginning is meant to feel like and look like. You're invited to welcome new experiences in. For a long time, you kept yourself in a box contained by expectation, by design, and I'm hearing by grief. I'd like to just lean into that a bit more, about the grief. A grief around how you've compared yourself to your environment. Okay, so trying to change and adjust that to allow yourself more room, but never really feeling that how you do things is enough, even though what you do is enough. And so the grief has been in working with accepting that there are parts of you that you haven't been familiar with. I'm picking up on some kind of a disappointment around, as if you feel that you should have, or feel like you should have had more time spent on getting to know yourself before getting to know others. What I'm hearing is I'm seeing almost these blocks moving around and they're labeled. And there is I'm picking up on a parent, a teacher, and a patient. And what's missing out of this for me is the child. These are various roles that we can assume as we move into a situation or wherever we find ourselves. And the role that we assume then determines how we show up and what we're open to. For example, if you've told yourself that you're the teacher, you have an expectation in terms of the outcome and your approach. Okay, same goes for being the parent. Okay, so if you're a parent, you have a very much the mindset of I decide what is happening. I'm the adult and I decide what's going to happen, and therefore when I apply this is the outcome that I expect. When you're the teacher, you give of yourself, you teach what you have learned. At times you might forget that the teacher is often also the student, and so your expected outcome is missing the student aspect. When I hear patient, I'm hearing there's some part of you that sometimes shows up where you have needs and you're the patient, yet these other roles still apply pressure onto you that you feel. And for the child to be missing here, the child is the one with the least expectations. The child is the one that requires a teacher, has a need for a teacher. They're also able to receive healing when they need healing. And so they know how to, in a sense, be the patient, because they're not playing the role of the parent or the teacher, or they don't carry all the burdens that these others tend to carry, including the patient, because almost like this role of being a patient feels like something else is going to solve your challenges. Whereas the role of the child allows you to benefit from all of these other blocks. It allows you to benefit from having the parent, the protective aspect. It allows you to benefit from the teacher, because there's an openness to learning, because there's not so much expectation. And it allows the child also to be the patient, and so to also receive healing. And so what being brought back to here is the reasons why we invite the inner child into our experience. Because the inner child is open to receiving from all of these roles without assuming the expectation, the expected outcome that they're meant to produce. They're showing me sort of a home with an open plan design. And so essentially you can see into each room, but each time you step into the home, you can make a call based on your needs and based on how you're feeling, where you're going to settle. And so not to have too many predetermined expectations of where you must sit, how you must feel, okay? Because it pretty much depends on what your needs are at any given time. And to say that even if you've chosen a room, okay, even if you've chosen a room, let's say you've decided to sit in the lounge and you're just going to be the observer, let's say, of a television, okay, you're going to watch and you're going to enjoy it. Or you're going to go into the kitchen and cook something up and redesign. And they're saying be open. They're saying that trying to confine your experience to almost have this regular, not just pace, but regular structure is what's throwing you off, because that structure doesn't allow for you to fulfill the needs that you have at each given point. And that's what the inner child is able to do. The inner child is able to enter an experience and enter it anew each time. Okay, and the parent is there as a sense of safety. But that if you walk into your home and feel like this is where you do this and this is how you do this, you're going to get bored and your needs are not going to be met, because your needs are constantly shifting. And what you need is freedom and a sense of safety and a sense of familiarity. But outside of that, what you need to understand is that this is your home to drift around in and to use as you need. And so whatever rules that you've imposed on yourself, to realize that you've closed yourself out by imposing these rules on how you do what you do. And they're also saying that it's your house, and so you make the rules. Every home has different ways of doing things. Every home has a different culture, a different set of values that govern how things are done in the home and keep a sense of order and familiarity in the home and safety. And so you need to start considering your needs and remembering that this is your home. I'm going to pull an oracle card and close this off. As I was deciding which deck to use, I saw another vision of this open plan home where there've always been people in the home. Okay, you've had visitors, you've had people who've stayed longer than they need to, you've had all these people in your home, and you've never actually spent time in your home alone. And they're taking me through this vision to remind you what it feels like when your home has been busy for so long and always had visitors or always had a housemate or whatever it is. And there's that silence and a sense of whether you'll know what to do with all this space. They're saying honor that space, honor that time, honor that observation. But then also remember what it feels like to do things just how you want, when you want, and as you want to do it, without needing to consider anyone else. And they're saying that there's a time and a place for visitors. You will know when you have guests, but they're reminding you that, you also, it's your home. And so you decide when you're going to have guests and when you're not going to have guests. And when you have unwelcome guests, then you'll need to recognize that and deal with that accordingly. Perhaps be accommodating, but recognize that it's not forever. They're reminding you that what you do, your space, and your sense of creativity, as you apply this as it resonates, but that you've handed over your power too many times and forgotten that this is your home and it's there to fulfill your needs and to keep you safe. Okay? And even if things need to be moved around, you'll see how you feel as you go. Nothing is set in stone. They're now tying this whole story back to fit into the context of coming into union with oneself. And we can compare this to the experience of, let's say, going on a first date, let's say with your soulmate. They're saying consider the fear that you deal with in terms of entering this new experience. They're saying so much is unknown. They're saying there's obviously a lot of anticipation beforehand as you prepare mentally, as you do the pre-scripting and all that, but to remind you that the way you really want to show up is as close to yourself as possible. Because if this is your soulmate, for example, if this really is your soulmate and something you've waited for a long time, the last thing you want to do is show up as a ball of nerves because you're not sure if you'll be accepted, not sure if you'll be enough or all of that, or that you'll say the right thing at the right time. So they're comparing these two experiences and actually showing me that it's one and the same type of experience. It's one and the same type of experience. And so even though one assumes that when you come into union, that feeling and that experience is meant to feel totally smooth, they're saying again, those are your expectations. It's the first time you're doing this. It's the first time you felt like this. And so it should be approached with curiosity and an openness and an assumption with yourself, the agreement with yourself that you've already accepted yourself. Okay? And this is an acknowledging the journey that you've walked with yourself. And they're saying that, again, similar to, let's say, a first date. They're saying that this is how to walk away from it feeling whole, still feeling curious, with a smile in your face, a sense of peace, that you showed up as yourself, that you stayed open. It's very interesting observing this through the example of that experience of a first date. They're also bringing up this idea of how you actually fail yourself when you show up to a first date performing. Because then when you leave, you're left with that pressure of needing to continue being how you showed up. So the person that you introduced, you then carry the pressure of either topping that person or always being that person. And they're saying that this has actually been a journey of self-acceptance and recognizing that you are all you have to offer. And that if you are going to be at ease on a consistent basis, then that's what you need to put forward. That is actually the product that you've been working on this entire time. not the stuff you do. You've been working on your self-concept. That's what you've got to offer. That's what's sustainable, because that's the thing that you've built that has made you who you are. And that cannot be changed or removed without your consent. The card I've selected is Becoming Who You Are Meant to Be. Manifest Your Dreams. This tiger has been showing up in my vision for during this past week. And what I've been seeing is the tiger moving through different types of terrain. The solitude that a tiger spends its time in, okay? But also its quiet strength. I've been taken to its survival instincts, but also if you've ever seen a tiger in the water, it's almost as though it seems more playful. I've seen this in pictures, and it just seems more contented and more at peace. There's none of that prowling, if you know what I mean. It's not hunting, it's just resting and being at ease. And so what they're showing me is that you're a survivor. You can survive in many different environments and types of terrain. And that although you're so strong, okay, although you're so strong, not all of your moments are about that strength. Not all of your moments are about that strength, because sometimes a tiger just wants to swim. Okay? The message says, you have had a rocky start, but now is the time to manifest your dreams. Dive deep into your childhood programming and release that which doesn't serve you. Do not allow negative self-talk into your space. It can hold you back. It is the ego trying to survive as you wake up. Let everything from the past stay in the past. The more you release and focus on loving yourself now, the more you will find that you can attract positive people who support you. If you are in a situation where you've manifested a stressful environment, minimize conversation and contact. Remember, the outer world is a mirror of what you feel inside. You've stored memories of ancient fears deep within your DNA. You need to bring light to those fears and watch them disappear like the illusions they are. Like you, most people in your life have stored fears and are instinctively reacting to them. Send these people loving energy and know that you are not here to save them. You are here to focus on balancing yourself. Only when you feel strong can you help others. Thank you so much for sharing this container with me. Should you wish to support my channel, please see details below in the description box on how. And I'm really so grateful to all of you who already do. Sending you so much love.